These strawberries look so tasty. Let's see how they came together. Grab your colors and follow along with me. I begin with crimson red, laying down a base layer over most of the strawberry. I'll leave a white space at the top before the crown, as I will get to that later. This is a light layer, but I do want to make sure it is a relatively smooth layer. The paper will be visible through this layer, which is fine. Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. This is in real time, and this is how fast I am moving. This is a free downloadable from Joanna Basford's blog that I will link to below, but it is also in her Worlds of Wonder adult coloring book if you just want to get the book, or already have it. I'm zoomed in as much as I can, so hopefully everything is clear and easy to follow. I have the palettes listed for free on Patreon or Ko-fi, whichever works best for you, and they are also listed on screen as always. I come in with Tuscan Red and use it only on the left side of the strawberry to begin blocking in the shading. I build up the layers to get a feel for how much color I need to get the look I want. I use Poppy Red on the rest of the strawberry to brighten it up. I leave the top still white, and I also leave the Tuscan Red dark. For the top, I bring in a little pink and blend the top of the red section into a little bit of the white section. I still want some white at the top. Think of this as an almost ripe strawberry. You know, those semi-ripe, tasteless ones from the grocery store in winter. I blend in more crimson red over the red parts of the strawberry. This gives a more blended color as well as filling in the paper even more. The more layers I add, the more the paper fills in and the more intense the color becomes. My layers and pressure are still light. I am not pressing hard, yet. Time for some shadows, and I come in with dark green and add it to the left side of the strawberry where I added in the Tuscan Red. It is all about layers and blending with smaller sets. I use the green to desaturate the red to get a darker shadow. I am still going a little conservative in my layers as I build up the color. I blend in some apple green, both over the dark green and a little at the top under the cap where the berry is still unripe. Just a hint of green, very light layers, just barely brushing the paper. I add in more poppy red, and here I am finally using slightly more pressure, just a little more. I want to blend and fill, but not so much that I can't add more color, since this needs more work on the shadows. I use the Tuscan Red to add more layers to the shadows and refine them a little more. I didn't feel like I took the shadow out far enough towards the center of the strawberry, so I add in a little more to the shadow. I blend in a little more pink at the edge with the white and the red to help with the transition. More poppy red to brighten the lighter side of the berry. I blend the top with white, which should smear the green and pink together. Finally, I blend the shadows with more Tuscan Red and a little more pressure to fill in the shadow side of the berry, and that is one strawberry almost ready to be eaten. With the dark green, I fill in the vine, and I assumed the shapes to be leaves, but afterwards I realized they could have been flower buds. Oh well, they're leaves now. I make the tips of the strawberry cap darker and the base of the leaves a little darker too. I blend in apple green on top to smooth out the color and fill in the paper. I give the vine a final touch-up with a little more dark green to increase the contrast a little more for the darker areas. If this is your first time here, welcome! This is the first video for this bird, but I worked up another bird on this page. If you want more color alongs, I have the playlist linked above in the cards. Feel free to jump in right here. Each video works alone. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that subscribe button to catch the next part of this color along. Now on to the other two berries, and this is sped up a little. I begin with a base layer of crimson red for all of the red parts. I again leave a little white area at the top of the berry to give it that slightly unripe look. I add in Tuscan red next, blocking in the shadows. This time I took the shading a little further out into the center of the berry, about a third of the way, and it looks much better this way. But I only realized that after working up the first berry. I blend in the top red part with pink to smooth the transition into the white area. For the lighter side of the berry, I blend in poppy red. It is fine to blend some into the Tuscan red. It is dark enough that it doesn't affect the color too much. And those are my light base layers with everything blocked in. Now I can go through and add in more layers and refine the colors and gradients even more. I begin with dark green so I can darken the shadows even more. I add in a little more closest to the left edge of the berry and feather the green out from there. I do not use the green to cover all of the Tuscan red. Just about a quarter of the Tuscan red is dark green with another quarter with light pressure. I add more Tuscan red in another layer to blend with the dark green. I also put a little more pressure on the left side of the berry and ease off the pressure as I get to the edge of the shadow. I blend in more crimson red over most of the berry. I still leave the top white for now. I come in with pink for the top. I keep the pink to the edge of the red and just a little into the white. I do want part of the white to remain very light. And with the white, I blend the pink up into the white section, giving it just the lightest blush of pink. I did not add in any green under the cap this time. These berries can be considered a little riper. I blend in a little apple green over the shadow, helping refine the edges a little more. I blend that in with Tuscan red. I give the berry a final harder blend with poppy red to bring all of the colors together and to also make sure the paper is completely filled in. Now onto the caps and vines. I give those a base layer with dark green. The tips of the leaves on the cap are darker and the bottom of the leaves on the vine are darker. I blend the color with apple green to fill in the lighter areas of the vine and leaves as well as fill in the paper. I add in more dark green to darken up any areas that lightened too much when I added the apple green, and with a quick touch up with apple green, those are the vines complete. Now onto the flowers. These are tough because they are white. I began the center with canary yellow. I did check pictures online to see what color strawberry flowers actually are, and they did not appear to have any color other than the yellow center. So white it is. I add in a little goldenrod to the bottom of the flower center, just a touch of shading. I also flick in a little color to the bottom of the petals, just a little reflected yellow from the center. I also put in the barest little hint of apple green at the base of the petals as well. I decided to flick in just a hint of canary yellow to cover all of the colors. Then I blended the flower with white. I made sure to scrub back and forth from petal base to petal tip so I could drag those light colors further up the flower petal. It is super subtle, but the background will be darker, so that will help the flowers more. On to the next two flowers, then their vines. Since I already filled in the center, I add in a little canary yellow to the base of the petals. I add in the shadow to the center with goldenrod and lightly flick in a little color to the base of the petals. And then a touch of apple green to the petal base. I blend the center with more canary yellow, and then I blend the petals with white. These vines get the same treatment as the berry vines. A base layer of dark green followed by a blend with apple green, and that covers the strawberries and their flowers. Thanks for coloring along with me on these strawberries and flowers today. Let me know below or on social media if you colored along and how your coloring went. I'd love to know how your berries turned out. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me. If you found this useful, please like, share, and subscribe so others can find this video. Until next time, happy coloring!